Hi all, welcome back to Sunshine City Show. Max, your host. Today I want to discuss Elon Musk. And you remember the Joe Rogan interview where Joe Rogan sits down with Elon Musk and they discuss AI and simulations. The thing was, the interview was conducted wrongly and Joe Rogan was acting like a gatekeeper to his sponsors and trying to keep the show off where Elon Musk was going. So rather than ask him real questions, he would say, "You don't mean simulation, do you, Elon? We live in a simulation." He'd go, "We live in a simulation." And Joe wasn't willing to go further from there. So he would slant into other things like videos, and Elon would say it's going to be wrong when TV games, and you can't distort reality from a game. Now what is he saying there? Well, currently, as we know, that space has been faked. Elon Musk had his car in space and he said it must be so fake, it must be real. But no one's cottoning on to that, what's going on there. Unbeknown to us in USA, they had a clip of a car on a platform. Do you understand? A car was on a platform and then they had it in space for a minute, but no one saw that out of USA because they covered that up. So when Elon Musk saw the coverage, he had no choice but to say that. Now he's saying that we live in a simulation. Why is he saying that? That is a good question, and if he's saying that and they're gatekeeping that information from going out there, they gatekeep it so much that when he left the show he was removed as chairman of his own company at that specific point of time. He's back and chairman of his own company now, but it was so bad what he said that they removed him as chairman from his own company. Now they were smoking weed, that kind of thing, smoking. And they blamed the weed, of course. But what does weed do? Weed tells you information about what he was trying to say. So he was talking about us being in a simulation. What does he mean by that? We're in an enclosed space. We can't get out into space. He knows it. He's seen the car. He's seen it was fake. He knows that we can't go in space. Possibly we can go to the moon. But the Tesla car wasn't in the moon, it was in space. And they've been launching Tesla rockets, and Elon Musk is the, what would you call him? He's the prodigal son of the left. He can't do wrong. You know, Tesla got sponsorship, they launched into space, and they're taking over from where NASA couldn't do it. What NASA could not do, go to space, Tesla were doing. And of course he didn't know when he started this whole thing. It was his dream to go to space and everything. Now he's saying it's a simulation. So you have to wonder why. And also he was talking about AI technology is going too far. And he was trying to warn us. So in these game simulations we want to advance our bodies so that we can do things on these games and we can shoot and we can be there in real life without putting a visor on. We can just visually see it ourselves, and AI advancement will be quite scary. And so when he says, and this is the problem with gatekeeper Joe Rogan, is he was monitoring and making sure that it didn't go much further than where it was. So they were just going to talk about gaming. But they didn't expand the information, didn't expand what he was really trying to say. It was a poor interview, but I would call it a gatekeeper interview. So they made Elon look like an idiot in the interview, but he was an expert and he wasn't able to say what he wanted to say. Even if he could say it, Joe Rogan was there and they let him on that show. Joe Rogan was there to gatekeep the information to make sure that he did not go beyond what he was trying to say to his subscribers, because Joe Rogan is watched carefully by everybody and he's sponsored by the left and he's the gatekeeper of the left. So they don't want us to know, the peasants at the bottom, what's really going on. They are willing to fake space. They're willing to do that because they are trying to get towards the AI technology of cyborging humanity. And as I've said, look up Rockefeller PDF foundation file, but look in April this year, not the recent months of July, because they made another PDF file to make me look like an idiot. But go back to there and it talks about tracing the heartbeat and the temperature. So temperature and heartbeat, or you can do it through the hand possibly, or the head and the heart over there. So they're talking about possibly cyborging, because I can't see how you can measure these things on a phone. And we have apps now. We have QR apps of using our phones, and young people love it, of tracking where you're going shopping. But the young people that love this, how about the fact that you guys are cash laundering, possibly in illegal trades, that kind of thing, selling weed, that kind of thing? Well, this information will be tracked by the QR codes. So when you go into a shop and they have QR codes, then you'll be tracked. So forget whether you're voting right or left right now. Technology is going to catch you out in money laundering and what you're doing. I have already been accused of money laundering from putting $1,000 from one bank and $1,000 in another bank. And I was doing it every month to pay for a loan, but I didn't want the bank to know about it, so I paid it by cash, not by a transaction. But the bank told me that I'm already down as a money launderer, because I was putting cash every month into another bank to pay off a loan, because I didn't want, for asset reasons, I didn't want that bank to know about it. Because if you want a bank to do loans and that kind of thing with it, you don't want to know that you've got debts. But now the banks need to know everything. They have to know everything of why you're giving cash to that bank. This is transactions, because they're trying to track down on money laundering. And this is funny that I have to go to this, but people think that they're not affected by this. You are affected by this. You're doing cash jobs. You're affected by this. By technology will catch you out. You want to use QR codes and everything else. When you remove your freedoms, you don't get them back, and then they can track you with that information over a period of time. And you're thinking, well, this hasn't happened. You're thinking, well, Google's doing it. Google's starting to control everything. Facebook's starting to control information that you write down. You think, well, that information's confidential. Only the people on my Facebook can read this. If you put it to friends only, then all of a sudden Facebook is removing it, and nobody complained. It's just down on their fact checking that they can remove these things now. And so you have information being tracked. And so of course they're checking money laundering. That would be illegal trades such as weed, marijuana, meth, everything else. Cash jobs, if you're doing cash jobs as a trade, that kind of thing. So you go into a shop and you're tracked. Now I've explained this in my last video, explaining the last few videos. Your money has to be tracked right now because they're wanting to clamp down on money that you're getting, extra money that you're getting, cash money, that kind of thing. Where you're getting this money from. And so you have to only work for a company and only get the money from where you work. And they want that to be a corporation business. They don't want you to work for an independent company, or they'll do a riot or something to smash that building down. Because it seems like the riots are smashing down middle income businesses at the moment. They're not smashing down the big ones like Coca-Cola, Amazon, Google, YouTube buildings. They're not taking those buildings down. They're taking down the small guy, the middle guy who's employing people. And this is just sad. You might take down a white business owner, but he's employed coloured people. And then those people lose their jobs. And that's bad. It's bad to lose your career over a riot. We'll get back to it anyway. So we've got Elon Musk and we've got Joe Rogan gatekeeping. So we've got AI technology improvements and where we're going, and that we can't go to space. That kind of thing. So forget what you believe in, whether you believe in round or flat. Forget that. Just think for a minute. Think for a minute. There's a deception. Why would they be creating a deception? So I think personally, there has to be something coming in space. We've heard of the asteroids, that the asteroids are coming here, and there's a set time. They've had some fake ones coming here. NASA are saying that the asteroids are coming, but they're not coming right now, and they take months to get here. We're hearing that kind of thing. So there must be a deception coming soon, because why would they have to deceive us in space right now? Or if there is a real coming, a biblical coming, we won't know because we're being lied to all the time. We don't know what's true or not true, and they're trying to clamp down on social media for information, and the media's not giving us true information. They're willing to put a Tesla car in space. They're willing to have weird things like it must look so fake it must be real, that we live in a simulation. These leaks coming out from these people, you're thinking, well, Elon's an example of the fact that there is space. He's an example that there is not space. He's an example that there could be a deception coming in the future. And this is not, this is not talking about biblical. This is them making up stuff coming in space, like UFOs. Because right now, media believe in UFOs, unidentified flying objects. And so you have to worry if a guy's going to gatekeep exactly what's going on here. Maybe Joe Rogan doesn't know what he's gatekeeping, but he knows that Elon, that he can't ask him real questions. He says, oh, you don't believe in simulations, do you? After he just said it. And I don't know how many times it was like, he said simulation like 10 to 20 times. Joe Rogan was trying to divert the information away from it the whole time. He was willing to talk about game reality, and you can't, because he was willing to make Elon look like an idiot, but he wasn't willing to go down what Elon was really saying, because Elon represents Tesla. Elon represents going into space. And if he says we live in a simulation, mathematically, he's saying we can't go into space. That's what he's saying. And that's why he had to be removed from director of his own company. A director of a company that is giving you the image of going into space. That's why he had to be removed from it. And that opens up a can of worms. Opens up deception upon deception. And I hope in comments you can say whatever you like. I like free speech. Some of you go this way, some of you go that way politically, left and right. I don't mind that, but when you start swearing in my channels, that's when I mind. So thank you all. Thank you for subbing my channel.